Well, this presentation is about assessing and understanding heritage buildings through ICT. The inception methodology is applied to the Italian demonstration cases, so just to give you the main points of the presentation, the agenda is related to challenges and approaches to digital cultural heritage accessibility. We talked very much about accessibility in a broad sense, so how to access heritage, but also how to access data in different digital formats, innovation in digital documentation, and the already mentioned inception protocol will be presented related to the Italian demonstration cases. The holistic approach, we will highlight once again this approach that is one of the main points of the inception project. The semantic approach in a connection with what Lisa presented related to how to connect data to BIM model, and the platform in short, since it's almost coffee time. So main problems, establishment of digital cultural heritage accessibility is the ability to access cultural contents and resources for as many people as possible by using ICT functionalities and applications. Through digital technologies, broad categories of users have access to European tangible and intangible cultural assets. But in this framework, the main challenging is giving more and more interactive possibilities to access, exchange, and enrich the knowledge of heritage through interactive platforms. So main challenges are related to how to overcome cultural, environmental, and management barriers for an easy and spread fruition of heritage contents, and beyond the application of ICT for management, research, diagnosis, conservation, and restoration procedures, education, and enhancement. New technologies allow the communication and dissemination of cultural assets that become more and more accessible for new knowledge and experiences. You already had the opportunity to know several sections of the Inception project. Now I will give you the overall picture. Inception was, that means inclusive cultural heritage in Europe through 3D semantic modeling, so inclusive approach to heritage and the semantic modeling from the point of view of the ICT application is the name of the project applied under Horizon 2020 work program. And the topic of the call that we applied this project is a research on cost-effective technologies for advanced 3D modeling to enhance the understanding of cultural heritage. So I would like to add understanding in addition to knowledge as one of the main outcomes of heritage documentation and modeling. So the approach, considering the call, so considering what European Commission launched as the main challenge to be approached in the field of digitization of cultural heritage and inclusive approach, we started working on assessing, so how to assess heritage, understanding how to put together several actions and several approaches that are effectively able to make understandable these great resources that is heritage, and identity and diversity as one of the main points of this call. Of course, in order to approach this challenge, we work with several procedures and several approach on new methods and tools for 3D modeling and digitization, how to process data, trying to be cost-effective and sustainable, what is the meaning to put semantic information in a digital model, and so how to create different steps approaching all these challenges, considering that the main part of the project are users. So the best way to work according to all these action and needs and requirements is understand what to do in order to make users able to access this data, to share this data, to access all this knowledge. So the main approach and methodology of Inception started with what Rocco Darnic explained before, significances. So the first step is how to create this common framework. We need to to understand what we are doing approaching documentation of cultural heritage, we need to know what is heritage, and we need to know what to do with all data and documentation related to heritage. The second step is an efficient way to document, so to survey cultural heritage. You can see from the schematic picture, the integrated data capturing, since we can't consider just one tool, one technology, one way to work on heritage. Each heritage is different. Each building needs a unique approach, as well as each heritage is unique. So very often we need to work with different technologies working together to approach the knowledge. The semantic modeling for cultural heritage started with two different approaches: how to work on 3D modeling, 3D parametric modeling, so building information modeling in heritage environment that is really, really challenging and difficult to be approached, and how to include semantics in this modeling. So semantics, building information modeling and parametric modeling allow to add information to geometrics. So the core of the project is related to this kind of data aggregation. The main outcome of the project is the INCEPTION Platform, that it's the way to collect all this data, to make this data available according to an interdisciplinary approach, to make this data accessible and usable from different users. And of course, deployment and valorization. Deployment and valorization means also how to work with different applications related to the platform. One explained the one related to the tools for asset management. Additional applications related to augmented or virtual reality are able to make this data usable off-site and on-site. So you can be in your office and you can need to access some specific data integrated to a 3D model, so with the geometrical and dimensional value, that is the point. Or you can be on-site and need to access different information augmented through the augmented reality. Bridging gaps. INCEPTION started with capturing state-of-the-art. Several different and a wide range of devices are already existing. Nowadays it's possible to perform more accurate and faster surveys thanks to different devices, but the knowledge gap is related to the fact that bigger data means time-consuming processing, and that no technological integration very often is between different kinds of devices. So the advancement of INCEPTION is the common protocol for 3D data capturing and device enhancement for more efficient processing. 3D processing. The state of the art is that better software management and display of point cloud data are existing thanks to different software, but the gap is the missing of a BIM standard for cultural heritage building and the missing of management for captured data interoperability. So the advancement is related to tools for managing point cloud in BIM environment and how to work on semantic ontology definition for cultural heritage buildings in order to share cross-disciplines data. For model sharing, the state of the art is that a lot of 3D data on cultural heritage buildings are all over Europe. One of the statements in the call of the European Commission was that create something that make possible to use and reuse data. So very often we have data performed by a research center or university or professionals that are unexploitable because it's not possible to access this data, but a lot of heritage are already digitized. So INCEPTION works in this direction, how to make a platform available in order to collect and reuse already performed data. Missing platform for cultural heritage buildings in order to share existing models was the gap existing at the moment of the project proposal, and the advancement is the web interface for assessing and understanding digital cultural heritage building. Common standards. Also Marinos stressed before the importance on having standards to make a dialogue between different data and different professional and institution, and the possibility of collecting and explore time-aggradable 3D models and reconstruction in different ages. That is something related to the time machine, the already mentioned time machine, and is something also related to the way of performing 3D survey, data capturing, and advancement in documentation. The approach to INCEPTION was all this overall framework that I summarized was tested, of course, on 9 demonstration cases. We decided to select demonstration cases according to the criteria of different sites, so different typologies, different dimensions, that means working differently from the survey point of view, different state of conservation, different needs from the stakeholders, and so different starting points in order to test all these steps, all these actions that INCEPTION is working on. The Italian demonstration case is an outstanding and great Renaissance building by Filippo Brunelleschi. So we decided to work on the complexity from the geometrical, historical point of view. And it was a great experience to work performing setting up this protocol, that is the data acquisition protocol, starting from 2 main issues: time-consuming procedure and limited budget, that very often are starting point for survey project. Accuracy and complexity, how to put together these 2 different issues. I need very often to perform very complex 3D data capturing at a certain level of accuracy, and how to work in the direction of data integration and preservation. So semantics already describes as aggregated information to be added to geometries, but also metadata, that are data about data. So what to do when we need to trace a survey and to have aggregated all the data related to the survey performed. Multimedia and archiving are related to the way to exploit and to use this data. So starting from these requirements, we work on this protocol, that it's not a fixed document. It's not possible to work on something that is different from guidelines, because technologies is evolving too fast. So we can't consider this protocol as a fixed and static document. So the protocol will evolve according to technologies and change in digitization that are occurring. But we started defining 8 main steps in order to have specific requirements to be followed, and the activity indicators. 4 categories, starting from the idea that very often I need to perform specific survey according to the needs of the survey. So sometimes I don't need to have high technology 3D laser scanner. Sometimes I need to work in a different way, maybe working with direct survey. We don't need to work with laser scanning just because laser scanner now are the best instrument and the faster instrument to be used. So the B category is not a category, is related to simple building or for the creation of low detail BIM model for digital reconstruction aimed at virtual reality, for instance, or just for visualization purposes, up to the A++ category, that is suitable for very complex buildings where the capturing process needs to be documented and traced, and where very often the survey is the support for conservation and restoration project. That's what we did with the Istituto degli Innocenti. I just want to show you some 3D point clouds that are, yes, are raw data. Of course, we processed this data, and it was a huge work, but these data are also a digital archive, our digital memory, so we can retrieve data working by using this 3D database, so you can see how the building and the survey complex was, once again, holistic approach. So the documentation was not related just to the use of time-of-flight technologies in order to have these 3D point clouds, but we work integrating different methods and different data. You can find the list of the main performed investigation, just to highlight that we started with the documentation and historical researches, and we selected different tools and instruments according to the main aim of this survey that was related to the knowledge of the building. Just the INCEPTION platforms at a glance, it's an open standard semantic web platform for assessing, processing and sharing interoperable digital models resulting from 3D survey and data capturing. So it's possible to upload new models, new scopes. So according to different users that INCEPTION is considering, it's possible to access in different ways the data that are uploaded on the platform. It's possible to update and to integrate data. It's possible to access with different user profiles. So I can be a non-expert just browsing some data on historical sites because I'm a tourist, for instance. But if I am a professional, I can access data according to what have been presented. So it's possible to retrieve also a specific data integrated to the 3D model for several purposes. The IFC model, just to come back to the standard, is the entry level for the platform because it's a standard and it's possible to aggregate different data. But it's possible to upload several kinds of documentation in the platform. You can see just the building information modeling and the list of all additional documents that are related to picture, text, historical documents, and it's possible to use this building information modeling by connecting the attachments in the information related to specific elements of the model or to the overall model if it's needed. And just to conclude, some applications we are working on are related to a way to use all this data with different devices. Oana showed the platform by using a tablet, so it's possible to do specific action on site, working in the direction of retrieving data from the platform. And of course, we are working also on application of augmented reality. Thank you for your attention.